good morning, everybody. Welcome, Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Bruce, how are you? As
I am
tomorrow
well.
is your Christmas first day, we can actually show up for practice. Training camp on the field officially begins for the fans and players on Friday. For me and you, it is mañana.
Yeah, you can call it what it is, acclimation.
Right.
This is the 2 days of acclimation. Used to be ramp up. Now we've evolved into acclimation. So we will be acclimating the next couple of days. We do get players, not Sean, but players on podium today. So I'll wander down there for an hour and a half or so this morning, and then we'll go from that. But yeah, looking forward to seeing them on the field tomorrow. No question about it. Off we go.
Very rarely will I say that I have too much time on my hands, but
Right.
last night was one of those nights. I was watching Netflix. I don't know if you have seen the David Letterman series in which he interviews a lot of very famous people. Have you ever seen that before?
No.
Okay.
I mean bits and pieces of it, yes.
So he interviewed Caitlin Clark, and I wanted to watch it. I wanted to hear what she had to say. And as I'm watching it, I'm thinking, Caitlin Clark and Larry Bird have a lot in common, a lot of strange coincidences, kind of like Lincoln and Kennedy. I don't need to go through the Lincoln-Kennedy strange coincidences, do I? But you get what I mean, right?
Right, of course.
Okay. You know, both had a vice president named Johnson. Both were elected 100 years apart, 1860 and 1960. Both
Lincoln's secretary was named Kennedy. Kennedy's secretary was named Lincoln. We got it. Yeah. All right.
Okay. So with that, humor me on these connections between Larry Bird and Caitlin Clark.
Wow.
Kind of like Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy.
Kind of.
Hold your applause, please, until the end. Both stayed at home to play college basketball. Both lost in the NCAA final. Both were born in a state starting with the letter I. Both went to college roughly 2 hours from their hometown.
All right.
Both played 36 minutes per game in their rookie season. Both averaged roughly 20 points per game during their rookie season. Both wore double-digit numbers on their jersey, which was the same number. Bird 33, Clark 22. Both have generated tremendous interest in the league, taking it to a new level. Both had legitimate rivals coming into their leagues with Magic and Angel Reese. Both faced their rival in the NCAA final. Both of their rivals are black. Both have worked professionally in the state of Indiana in basketball.
Wow.
Both finished in fourth place in their rookie season in their respective MVPs. Both are white. Now you can applaud. What do you think of that list?
Wow. Weren't there reruns of Alf or, something on that you could have entertained yourself with? But that's, you know what? That's a pretty good, you came up with something. I like it.
Well, I was watching the Caitlin Clark interview and I'm thinking, okay.
Right. I hear you.
Because the taping was done in Indiana. And I'm thinking, well, Larry Bird's from Indiana, right? And she plays basketball for the Fever, and he coached in Indiana, and both are white and both played in the NCAA. I'm like, I might be onto something here. So let's stretch it out as much as I can, which is exactly what I did. With that, the best way to buy what you want at the price you want is at Roller Auction, leader in Colorado auctions for over 45 years tomorrow. Planet Open Box having a factory return auction featuring new open box, overstock, scratch and dent, and refurbished merchandise featuring electronics, furniture, exercise equipment, and more. Online bidding has started at rollerauction.com. Get notifications about upcoming auctions at rollerauction.com as well. Get what you want at the price you want today at Roller Auction. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Smokin' Dave's Barbecue. It is not just the best barbecue in town, it is one of the best restaurants in town. You can find Smokin' Dave's Barbecue off 36th and Pecos.
This has finally gone public about his situation with the Nuggets, and it's good news if you're the Nuggets and you're a Nuggets fan. This is what he said. The idea of playing for the team in Greece is closer to home. It was very exciting to me. but that'll have to wait. I'm fully committed to honoring my contract with the Nuggets this season and will give it my all to compete for a championship. If you are the Nuggets, are you feeling a sense of relief, or this is what you were expecting all along and it's no big deal?
I think the latter. I think more, if you're asking me for more of one of the other, there might be a combination of them. Anytime that you start getting, I'm going to play closer to home, I'm going to play in Europe, I'm not going to be in the US, the thing that would concern you would be, well, he's going to retire. I mean, that would have been concerning.
Yeah.
But as soon as FIBA, the controlling entity of international basketball, came down on the side of the Nuggets, you knew that the Greek thing was not going to happen.
Yeah.
You knew that the Nuggets were on the right side of the contract. And so I think that they had a fairly good understanding that this would be a fait accompli. As long as the guy's going to play somewhere next year, he's going to play in Denver. But, Eric, I will say this. It's good to hear the verbiage.
Yep.
It's good to hear the enthusiasm. It's good to hear the, all for one for all kind of kumbaya moment of, I want to be a Denver Nugget and play for a championship. That's good. Now let's get him here. And when camp gets going here in another couple of months, we'll see what we've got. But very exciting stuff. No question about it.
I got to tell you, so hearing that news and thinking about what is coming up, Broncos training camp starts this week. Probably in about a month or so, the Avs are going to get together. A little while after that, the Nuggets are going to get together. We are going to be covering 3 teams, maybe not legitimately if you want to be nitpicky with the Broncos, but I think their championship window is open now. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, why not, right? Certainly the other twos are.
We are going to be covering over the next 9 months or so 3 teams chasing a championship. I am not so sure I can remember a time when 3 teams had a legitimate shot to say our window is open.
Yeah, which is really, really exciting. It is. Now, of course, you've got the Rockies, which on the other end of things balance out all 3 of the
Don't go all cynical on me.
Well, I'm not being all cynical, but that's
my job.
They're back to like a 124, 125 game pace, loss pace. So, but no, to your point, it is exciting. You can be bullish, certainly about the Nuggets, certainly about the Avs. And I think that you can, at the very least, that championship window is now at least cracked. In other words, it's been opened, and there's a crack there for the Broncos as well. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts for the Broncos, but on paper, I was looking at this last night while you were looking at Larry Bird and Caitlin Clark,
right,
and doing it very well, I might add. I was looking at the future lines, and all they are future lines, subject to change.
Right.
Of the 14 lines that are posted right now for the Broncos, they are favorites in 11 games. 3 of them have not been posted yet, at Washington, at LA for the Chargers, at Kansas City. But other than that, they are favored in 11 of the 14 games that have been posted. Now, they're playing a much more difficult schedule this year than they played last year. We talked about that a lot last year, the schedule that they were playing and stuff. They still won games. We'll have to wait and see how it rolls out this year. But yeah, I would say that at the very least, that window has been cracked open. There's a little breeze coming through, and doesn't it feel good on these summer days?
I think this would be kind of a fun argument, or discussion, I should say. But I need to take the temperature of my friend Alex here to make sure he's of age to participate in this. You may not be, Alex. What year were you born?
1993.
Oh.
Okay, well, you know what? Maybe you kind of qualify for this, but I doubt it. All right? If you ask a Denver sports fan, what was the best time to be a Denver sports fan? I think many would argue between 1996 and 2001, roughly that 5-year stretch in which the Avalanche won a Stanley Cup title fresh off the plane from Quebec. Then the Broncos win 2 in a row, and then the Avs win another one, all over the course of about 5 years. Now, would you make the case that this is even a better time? This is why I'm bringing this up. Now, no championships have happened starting today, obviously. However, the Nuggets and Avs, serious championship contenders, and the Broncos window is now starting to open. But if you want to go back a couple of years, right, 2022, you can throw in a couple of championships. Let's see what happens in the next couple of years, and that could be matched with 4 titles. But what do you think was a better time to be a sports fan? 96 to 2001 or now?
Well, you got the championships in the late 90s, so that's hard to beat. But now you have 3 teams instead of 4, with the Nuggets, Avs, and the Broncos. You only had 2 in the late 90s with the Avs and the Broncos. So, 3's better than 2. So, I mean, it's hard to argue this era right now is the best time to be a Denver sports fan.
And, oh, by the way, the Rockies were better than the Nuggets in 1995. At least I think they were. The Rockies made the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
Now, they did lose 3 games to 1 to the Braves. And then in 1996, the trapdoor opened into Todd and the Toddlers. And then eventually we wound up getting to, Rocktober. Let's take a hard right turn and talk about the start of training camp, which starts on Friday. But the Broncos, the veterans report today. They will be on the field tomorrow. Bruce, you and I will both be there tomorrow. With that, the Broncos arguably, and I think this is fair to say, arguably have the best defense in football. Is that fair to say? Quick yes or no?
Arguably, yes.
They arguably have the best offensive line in football. Is that arguable?
Arguably, yes.
Every major contributor on offense is back, with the exception of Javonte Williams. That is correct, right?
Yes, factual.
So they almost have their entire offense back, except for Javonte Williams. Arguably top defense in the league. Arguably, best offensive line in football. And then just to take it a step further, with Bo Nix, you have your quarterback back, who is now paired for the second consecutive season with Sean Payton. And he should feel as comfortable as any quarterback in the league right now, because not only does he have pretty much everybody back, he walks into the locker room and nobody has to wear a tag that says, "Hello, my name is," except for 3 huge upgrades on offense: J.K. Dobbins, Harvey, and Ingram. So with that, everything that I just laid out, what are the realistic expectations for the Broncos this season in the regular season and the postseason? What is realistic to you?
I think 11 wins is very realistic. I think winning a playoff game in the postseason should be the goal. I'm not going to go crazy anything past that. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. The further you go up the ladder, the harder it is to get to the point that you're trying to get to. They got to a playoff last year. It was a bit of a surprise, but here they are now. And the goal this year is to win a game in the playoffs. You know how it is. Funny things can happen in the playoffs. You can get on a roll. Momentum happens at odd times. You never know what could happen. But I think it's reasonable to hope or to expect for them to challenge in the West and win a playoff game in the postseason.
Well, I agree with you. Winning a playoff game, I think, would be considered a success.
Right.
Getting knocked out in the opening round would not be considered a success. It's climbing the ladder. You want to go the next rung up. So it's easy to say here in July, they need to win a playoff game for this season to be considered a success. What we are totally taking out of the equation is the 3-headed monster, which is in no particular order, the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Bills. Breaking it down even further, Mahomes, Jackson, and Allen. if I told you that the Broncos will have to go on the road in the opening round to take on the Ravens, are you still going to say, well, the season will not be considered a success if they don't go on the road and beat Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and the Ravens? And you can go right down the road, right down the road with that one. Is it not a success if they go to Buffalo and lose? They go to Kansas City and lose. So there's a lot to take into account with that. You know, I wouldn't call it a regular success. I wouldn't call the season a success. Well, let me rephrase that. I suppose I would call the season a success if they win the AFC West.
Wow. Yeah.
I would consider that a success. But I'm saying that because it is tethered to having at least a home playoff game.
Yeah. Which, if you lose a home playoff game after winning the West, is a very disappointing end to an otherwise very good season. Then you get into, you know, the minutia of, well, can you have a really good season based on something that you did in the regular season if you don't have success in the postseason? I guess my answer there is probably not. You got to kind of back one up with the other, right? To me, if you win the West, that's a big if. That's capital I, capital F.
Yep.
Then that means that you have a home game in the playoffs.
Right.
You better win the home game in the playoffs.
Right.
Then after that, it's house money. I mean, as far as I'm concerned. But having said that, at the moment, if this team could uproot the Chiefs and win the West, it would be a remarkable accomplishment. It really would be. Would it be enough to massage any disappointment in the postseason? Probably not.
Right. Okay, let's talk about training camp now. And we're all going to be looking for training camp battles. What are we going to be watching? Clearly, one eye is going to be on Knicks, and the other eye is going to be on whatever battle we want to choose.
Yeah.
With that, give me the battle that you are looking forward to watching the most.
Well, I'll be battle. I use the term sparingly, but I will use it. I think the Harvey-Dobbins matchup is a pretty good one. I said this yesterday, and I believe this. I think that they will share and share alike. I really do. I think one can make the other better for J.K. Dobbins. I think R.J. Harvey on the come gives him, Dobbins that is, a real focus to be a good veteran, a mentor, a leader. I think for Dobbins, if R.J. Harvey can't, I mean, he's got a tremendous opportunity to learn about what being a pro is and about crossing the T's, dotting the I's, doing all of the little things that you need to do that he seems very willing to do, by the way.
Right.
In just watching his preparation and the way that he has practiced through the off season, you see a guy that's very interested, very engaged in the process. So I think that you've got two guys that can really bring the best out of the other. And if that's the case, this has a chance to be a, dare I say, Eric, dynamic running back room. We haven't really had a dynamic running back room for a while. We've had a couple of 900-yard rushers, a few years back. Okay. But I'm talking about dynamic guys that can strike at any time, guys that can be really used creatively in the offense. I think you've got two guys like that right now. We have to know whether or not R.J. Harvey can pass block consistently.
Yep.
I think he'll be a very willing pass blocker, but will he be a very good one?
Okay, so when the Broncos drafted Jahdae Barron, they took him because he was the best player available. They took him because he could play multiple roles. I think anybody who believes one of the reasons why he was drafted was to take away Riley Moss's job. they're wrong. It was about playing corner. Would you agree? Meaning,
Yes.
not corner. It was about playing nickel. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, nickel, even dime, no question about it. I mean, it's the versatility of a player that you can literally line up anywhere that your imagination takes you.
Okay.
That's a rare type of player to get. So, and that's, I think, the role that Jahdae Barron will play and will hopefully fit all season long. I'm really excited to see how they use him.
Okay, so this is just for fun. This is the guy the Broncos are probably hoping Barron replaces, and that's Jaquan McMillan. Fair statement?
Yeah, nickel guy. Yep.
Oh, okay. So just for fun, I'm going to go through this with you now. As I've said many times, and I think you agree, stats don't always tell the whole story, right? But this is pretty eye-popping. Last year, Jaquan McMillan had 81 tackles. Pat Surtain had 45 tackles. Jaquan McMillan had a sack. Pat Surtain had 0. As far as passes defended, Jaquan McMillan had 10. Pat Surtain had 11. Interceptions, Surtain had 4. Jaquan McMillan had 2. Forced fumbles, Jaquan McMillan had 1. And Pat Surtain had 1. Fumble recovery, each had 1. Pretty similar numbers. And they're looking to replace Jaquan McMillan. I understand it's not all about numbers. You don't throw at Surtain as much. But you got a pretty good cornerback in there playing nickel who was 4th on the team in tackles. And you're looking to replace him.
Yeah, maybe supplement, even more than replacing. If you've got a really good football player, and I think you and I, we've always liked Jaquan McMillan. The guy has been a really good football player for this football team. Really good in the slot, and he's a physical guy with willingness. God, he gets after people. So I mean, to me, you're adding to an already robust room, right? Now he may very well become the slot guy, talking about Jahdae Barron. But I think that we're also going to see him as kind of a hybrid linebacker at the line of scrimmage. We're going to see him bring pressure from he did this at Texas. He can bring pressure from a lot of different places in the defensive backfield or along the line of scrimmage. He can line up along the line of scrimmage, either as a slot or tighter. I mean, he can do a lot of things that I think fits perfectly into the blitz-heavy type of defense that Vance Joseph really likes to run. Right. The more that you're around Jahdae Barron, the more you see why the Broncos took him in the first round of the draft, because he's just one of those guys that understands things right from jump and can go out and execute them. And I think that he makes an already outstanding defense that much better because it gives them an element that they haven't had.
Okay, coming up after the break, the Broncos wide receiver room. Have you heard anything about Courtland Sutton? Contract negotiation? Any rumblings that he might hold out? Is he going to show up? I'm guessing he will. So are the Broncos, have they not signed him already because they're waiting to see how the other wide receivers pan out first? Or are they in secret negotiations that we are not aware of yet? That's next. Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch in the DTC. Both locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook is a hangout bar or great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, the DTC, and coming soon to Parker. They are the sports bar.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a new Sea-Doo, four-wheeler, or the cash award from the Big Wheel Spin, plus $7,500 in cash. The grand prize drawing is the weekend of August 16th, and get finalist entries every 45 minutes from 10 a.m. to midnight during their daily cash drawing, with a locked-up jackpot of $100 or more. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos. Loose slots, great promotions, great food, and a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. And don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corned bake. Man, you gotta try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Spice up your next night out at Nola Jane and Lodo. Authentic Cajun cuisine like andouille sausage gumbo with dirty rice, crawfish etouffee, as well as 6 different po' boys like soft-shell crab and shrimp. Come in before or after a game at Ball Arena. Host a party or party on their rooftop deck overlooking Market Street during happy hour from 11 a.m. to 5. Plus, Nola Jane caters, delivers, and the kitchen is open late night. Make Nola Jane your new favorite spot to eat, drink, and party like it's Mardi Gras.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
And welcome back. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Want to tell you about Nola Jane, best Cajun restaurant in town. Easily one of the best restaurants in town, and it has the awards to back it up. Their sausage gumbo, outstanding over dirty rice. That is award-winning. Crawfish etouffee is easily one of the best meals I've ever had in my life. And I've traveled in a good part of the world like you have. That is as high of a compliment as I can pay. Right? The blackened catfish over dirty rice, outstanding. 6 different po' boys. The debris is amazing. If you think you're only going to eat a half of it, you're wrong. You're going to wind up eating the whole thing because it's just that good. Great homemade desserts as well. Love the key lime pie. And of course, you got to wash all that down with a hurricane. Unlike the ones in New Orleans, this one has fresh juice. Down there, it is all sugar. Nola Jane. Go find them. Right off of Market Street, around the corner from Ball Arena. Make your pre- and post-game party for the Nuggets, Avalanche, concerts, anything going on at Ball Arena. Time now for What's Trending.
What's Trending is presented by Nola Jane in the heart of Lodo. No one does Cajun cuisine better than Nola Jane. Go see why their award-winning menu is the best in town.
So after Cortland Sutton, Broncos have a number of potential emerging wide receivers. I think that is fair to say. Vele, Franklin, Mims, and Bryant. All of them are up-and-comers. Which one of these young guys do you think will have the biggest impact season as a breakout candidate? And do one of them potentially take over for Cortland Sutton as the top spot, as the top wide receiver this year, if Cortland Sutton's still on the team?
I think Devon Vele is the most reasonable expectation for a leap forward, size, catch radius, ability downfield, high point, those types of things. He can be competitive in the air. Those things kind of point to Devon Vele. Yes. But I am intrigued by the continued evolution of Marvin Mims, who who Sean Payton finally got figured out last year, certainly at the end of the season.
Well, wait a minute. Was it he figured out how to use Marvin Mims, or he was waiting until Bo Nix had a better grasp of the offense before he started sprinkling in Marvin Mims?
Could very well have been the case, no question. Then you add Troy Franklin to the mix, a bigger, stronger version of Troy Franklin, who is not needing to be spoon-fed this year. I think he's a very intriguing player, if for no other reason, his straight line speed downfield and his ability to get open. But he proved towards the end of last year that he was pretty good in a crowd too. So I think that that's certainly intriguing. And then anytime that you've got a ball catching machine like Bryant, it's going to be interesting to see how he is used and in what situations. I think that the receiving room is sneaky good for the Broncos. Eric, we've known each other for a long time. Those words, they have the potential to be the surprise. They've been used a lot over the last 8-9 years in Broncos country. But I do see a real opportunity because you're adding Evan Engram into that mix. And also, you now have really dangerous pass catchers at the quote-unquote tight end position and running back position, which you would think would open things up at some level on occasion for the wide receiver room as well. So it's got a chance to be better for that alone.
Right. So no rumblings so far about Courtland Sutton wanting a new deal. Do you think he's going to get a new deal at the start of the season? Or do you think Peyton and Peyton are going to evaluate their wide receivers throughout training camp and the preseason to make a decision on Sutton? Because inevitably there will be a number 2, number 1 wide receiver in the league go down in training camp, and they will be looking to make a trade with someone to at least get someone equally as good as the guy that they lost, and Sutton would qualify. However, I think the danger is the chemistry between Nix and Sutton was excellent last year. Do you really want to take that security blanket, for lack of a better phrase, away from Nix going into his second year? Or do you roll the dice and say, let's move Vele into the number 1 role right now? We have enough talent on the roster.
I think you got to be very careful. You use the term chemistry. I will underline it. I think you got to be very careful. Not only the chemistry between he and Bo Nix, but the clear leadership in that room from a veteran going into his 8th year.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty apparent that Courtland Sutton was a pretty strong leader. I mean, Sean Payton doesn't blow a lot of sunshine people's ways. I mean, you got to earn it from him, and he was very, very positive about the influence that Courtland Sutton had, not only in game, but obviously with the leadership of even then a younger room than it is right now. But so I would be very careful about that. I think that Courtland Sutton at this point, and it depends, when you're extending people, it doesn't have to be next week or 3 weeks from now. It can be into the season. There is proof that George Payton can wait into the season to extend guys. So I don't know how much urgency there is. I don't know what these particular camps, Benito's camp, Zach Allen's camp, John Franklin Myers, and of course, Courtland Sutton are the 4 guys that we're talking about. I don't know how urgent their respective camps are. I don't think that the Broncos feel a great pressure to hurry the process. I think they'll do it if and when they're ready to do it.
So let's say, for the sake of argument, I don't know, September 1st rolls around, season hasn't started, and a team offers the Broncos a 4th-round pick for Courtland Sutton. You take it? Now, I think he'd probably command more like a 5th-round pick, not a 4th-round pick. That's why I tried to make it more appetizing for you, because it's hard to pass up on a 4th-round pick.
It is. That would be hard. I mean, first of all, the offer is a good one, and you would have to think long and hard of it. I would have to know what the health of the room is.
It's all good. It's all good. You like what you've seen out of these wide receivers, but Courtland Sutton is still your number 1 guy. So the question is, do you sacrifice potentially this season trading away Courtland to get your 4th-round pick? Do you do that, or do you keep him knowing you're probably going to lose him for nothing?
Probably the latter. I'll go back to the chemistry thing. I think it's important, at least at this moment, it's important. We'll see how that evolves. You never know when you get a guy in that's looking for an extension, as I just mentioned, about how important that is to him. Where's the focus? It can't become a distraction, obviously. And that's as much on the Broncos as it is the player, right? I mean,
right.
You've got to be all on the same page. It would be hard to pass up a 4th-round pick. However, if you believe in the moment that your football team is good where it is because of the mix of veteran and youth, particularly in a room like the receiving room, then I don't think you mess with it. That's just my take.
I mean, you have Bryant and Vele, who are similar players.
Yes.
Similar to Courtland Sutton. Then you have a pair of burners in Mims and Franklin. So you have 4 guys, and very rarely do you line up 4 guys.
Right.
And if you are going to line up 4 guys, one of them is likely going to be Evan Ingram in a wide receiver spot.
Right.
Right?
Sure.
So with that, do you really want to sign Courtland Sutton to a 1-year deal for next year, knowing Bryant is definitely going to get a lot less touches, or more than likely, or Mims or Franklin? When do you pull the Band-Aid off? And I'm not suggesting that Courtland Sutton is just nothing more than a Band-Aid. He's a really good player for this team. He's really good for Knicks. He's one of the reasons why that there is confidence in this offense, because he's been a consistent, downfield threat, for lack of a better phrase. He's been a consistent pass catcher, consistent guy in the end zone. What do you do?
It's a great question. Maybe one of the better questions that this team faces as the season starts to unfold, as we get through into training camp and as it unfolds. Because I don't think that you are interested, and this is just the business of the game. So please, I don't want anyone to misinterpret what we're talking about. This is the business of playing football and of putting a roster together. I would be very surprised if the Broncos wanted to offer Courtland Sutton a multiple year deal. I think that one to me might be a little bit of a bridge too far. So what do you do creatively to kind of bridge that gap? You guarantee next year, I guess. I mean, that's one way to do it. Even Courtland at that point, now you can bet on yourself. You can certainly bet on yourself, but he'd be going into his 9th year next year as a wide receiver. So, you get to a certain point when reality takes over, gravity takes over, and it's tough to combat, man. It just is. So I would be surprised if there was a multi-year contract. And when I mean multiple, I'm talking about 2, certainly nothing beyond that, that the Broncos would be interested in, only because I think that they feel like they've got a room full of young players that are very much improving and on the come.
Okay, one more quick thing before we jump. There's going to be a lot of differences at training camp this year, specifically for the fans. Only 800 people are going to be allowed out there per day. But here's another change that I like a lot. I don't know if everybody's going to like it a lot. Autograph seekers are going to be limited to youth only If you are between the age of 5 and 15, you can go to something called the Kids Zone with special access for autographs post-practice. I don't know how they're going to card all of these kids. I don't know if you have to bring your grammar school ID. I'm not so sure that the birth date is actually on the ID. Maybe I'm get off the lawn guy. I don't understand why adults want and need autographs.
Well, they want and need autographs because they are looking for profit.
Okay.
And let's just call
I
it
understand
what it
that.
is.
I understand that. Hold on. I understand that. You have those people out there.
Sure.
Okay. You have your, sellers out there.
Of course.
Okay. Who want an autograph and then they sell it. They want it on a piece of paper. They want it on a picture. They want it on a helmet. But let's just say you're not into the profit world. You're not looking to sell it. I don't understand adults who want autographs, period. Do you?
No, I was never really much of an autograph guy.
Yeah.
It was
and I've
not,
just insulted probably well over half the audience by saying that. Then again, I'm the guy who never wears a jersey with somebody else's name on the back.
Yeah, but I get it. I get owning a piece of, like, for instance, an autograph of Babe Ruth would be different than an autograph of Ryan McMahon, and no disrespect meant.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Well,
yes,
it's not. I don't mean it to be disrespectful. They are both major leaguers,
right?
But you get my point, right? Yeah. Or for me, it would be Ted Williams, only because that's my favorite player of all time, and I do happen to have his signature. Is it something or other I'll go to my grave with? Well, no, but well,
wait a minute, Bruce. I have some good news for you. They froze him. If they decide to thaw him out,
he's coming back.
If they thaw him out, you can get your autograph. Do you think there are parents that are going to try and cheat the system?
Oh, I hope not.
I know you hope not, but do you think they're? Listen, Johnny, you look 13. You haven't gone through puberty yet, but you're 16.
We'll slap a little makeup on your 5 o'clock shadow and then throw you out there.
Right.
I hope not. And I will say this: if the media crew, and by that I mean the communications crew for the Broncos, are running this thing, don't think I would try it, because they can be pretty direct. You start getting into Megan's and Shoe and those guys. I don't think that I probably would. I think that they will be pretty stringent upon who gets in to get autographs and who doesn't. It will be interesting, though, to your larger point about the 800 fans, because they are all going to be on metal stands. And you know how hard it's going, or how hot it's going to be on certain days out there. I would like to be the guy holding the hose that gets to spray the group down every now and then, because it'll be, you know how it is in training camp. We always have a few days that are just brutally, brutally warm out there. But you know what? They're great fans. My understanding is that the early sessions are all sold out already, as you would expect them to be, with only 800 tickets. But you know something? There is an anticipation and an expectation that has not been around for the Broncos really since 2016, the year after they won the Super Bowl. There was, at least there was some anticipation to be a good football team, and they did start like 3 or 4-0 that year. So.
Okay, I'll ask you. So you obviously came here. You're the jinx. You came here at the wrong time. You came here after the Super Bowl. You've had nothing but losing with the Denver Broncos.
Right.
Okay. So when we knew Trevor Siemian was going to be the starter, I wasn't as excited.
Right. No,
I wasn't as optimistic,
right,
even though Manning wasn't particularly great in 2015. But can you remember in your time here, which is now 10 years, more excitement for a season. And
No.
yes, I'm including last year with Bo Nix's rookie year, but then again, we didn't know what he would necessarily look like. So this is for you is as good as it has ever been.
Yes, this is as good as it gets. Now, anytime that you come in after a Super Bowl season, right, there is an expectation that the team is going to be good. By the way, you know who wrecked that on a Sunday night or a Monday night was Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram went off on the Broncos playing for the Giants when the Broncos had started the season on a pretty good run, but they, obviously things fell apart. But to your point, yes, this is the fact that you have Broncos country feeling like they've got a football team to follow that can compete in the West is pretty remarkable considering where they've been.
I'm going to throw one more thing at you.
All right.
The Super Bowl this year is outside of San Francisco, Levi's Stadium. 10 years ago, the Broncos won a Super Bowl. What kind of 10-year anniversary party could you imagine being thrown if the Broncos go back to the scene of the crime 10 years ago and celebrate the 10-year anniversary in the same spot?
Yeah, that would be playing Von Miller and the Washington Commanders. There, I'll give you that one on the other end of the equation. So Von is back on that field. It would be it would be remarkable. I mean, that's a pretty big horse to put, or cart before the horse, right? Kind of thing. But at least, sometimes when you talk about teams and their expectations, you add a little chuckle and kind of a little, maybe a little roll of the eyes without being seen doing it. I don't think that those types of claims are being met that way about the Denver Broncos. Not locally, not regionally, not nationally.
Well,
there
they're
are
considered
expectations.
They're considered dark horse.
Yes,
they're a dark horse candidate, which is code for we don't think you're there yet, but maybe if things fall your way, you have the type of roster that can get you there.
And I think you'll take that now.
Again, and I said this, I think it was last week. To me, the Broncos are in the same position as Oklahoma City was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Not quite ready yet, but ahead of schedule.
Yes. I'd say that's right on target.
That's going to do it for us. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Make it the best possible day you can.